your mindset to how I can support my community. What can I share and give to my wife, to my husband? And I promise you that you'll feel happy. I would like to call Gedalia Fenster.
Bezrat Hashem, I want to talk to you more or less pretty much how to get the divine province, how to get to this set. Rabbi Nachman says joy is the hardest level to attain. He said it black and white. Joy is the hardest level to attain. That means it's not something that's going to come to you. It's something you have to fight for. I think this is not something we recognized when we were younger. We felt, oh, if I'm not feeling well, if I'm not feeling, something must be wrong with me. No, there's tremendous amount of resistance in being happy. It's not today, we think, CBD, you can, take care of your pain, anxiety. The real CBD here is Chokhmah Bin and Dat. That's the real CBD that's going to get us to there. CBD, all these little things to, switch our moods. The only thing that's going to really get you in a different mood today is Chokhmah Bin and Dat. The ability to really, really look into your thoughts today. So if Rav Nachman says that happiness is the greatest of everything, he tells us that it takes the Shekhinah out of exile, that practically our whole mission in this world is to take the Shekhinah out of exile. Today the Shekhinah is in exile, and our job practically is to get it out of exile. So it's not like you're just doing something happy for you. You're doing it for the grand total. Rav Nachman tells us the rewards for being happy, rewards for joy. He says you're going to succeed. You're going to have success. He says your relationships will flourish. You're going to be solar powered. You're going to get direct energy from above. You're going to be able to be successful in all ways. He guarantees it in Sefer HaMidot. Through joy, you will go out. There's a pasuk that says, through joy, you will go out. That means the exit strategy to all my challenges is my perspective. But the problem today is because we're so rational-minded, and we've never been taught otherwise. I don't remember being taught how to meditate when I was younger. I don't remember being taught how to think greater than I feel. We look at things, we give it a label, is it good or bad? And we can't get out of our head. And I think that's the real problem today. The Torah is telling you, you pretty much have to get out of your head. How in the world can you get out of your head? And I know when I get stuck in things, the hardest thing is not the situation, it's getting out of my head. And being stuck in my head is what's not allowing me to see the solution. And Reb Nachman knew this. This is not a new story. This is not something new. He told us that you're going to be brokenhearted, but be careful, don't be depressed. Brokenhearted, you're guaranteed. If you're going through a situation in life where you don't have some kind of a broken heart, or your soul is not torn in some area, then you're numbing the heck out of it. But he gave us realistic perspective. He's telling us, listen, you're either in a problem, you just got out of a problem, you're about to go into one. I mean, pretty much. He's not telling us you're in Gan Eden. He gave us that's one of the things that Reb Nachman's message really gave me realistic. Whether you're dealing with Moroccans, you're dealing with ex-wives, you're dealing with Bidens, there's always something. And the minute you think you're free, here comes another thing. So now, if I can't avoid life, then I have to change my perspective. I mean, that's pretty much what Reb Nachman's telling us. How in the world can we think greater than we feel? If somebody would told you, listen, just think greater than you feel, and I'll get you out of the situation. You'll see this challenge becoming. What would you do not to do it? But the problem is, what does the ego do? What is the ego? The job of the ego is resistance. Logic. It is what it is. Can't you see the situation I'm in? How can I be happy? Isn't that a common thing? How can I be happy unless this happens for me? Isn't that 99% of the things that people do? Why am I going through it? Why am I going through this? These questions constantly create resistance. And we need to recognize this. So the exit strategy is thinking greater than you feel. Being able to enhance an emotion before the situation. That means, even here, Rav Nachman tells us, he takes it from the Gemara. He says, a man of faith has abundant blessings. That means I can't attract blessings in fear. I have to jump to faith. A man who trusts in God has mercy. Basically, every single exit strategy that you've been waiting for is the ability for you to exit your rational mind, pretty much. The more you get stuck in your rational mind of logic, of limitations, the longer you will stay there. And this is where you need to meditate. This is where you can't do this just thinking about it. You need a place to breathe. You need a place to look at these situations completely different. And this is what my classes talk about. We learn, we know what the Torah is. We know the 98 curses of not being happy. We know this. It's not, obviously, I'm going to get more out of life if I love my spouse than resent my spouse. Clearly. But if it's so easy, why is it so easy? It's because we can't deal with our emotions. And this is what Rav Nachman's telling us. You have to be able to get into a better state. That means I can envision myself. See, today we're using our mind the wrong way. We're using our mind for catastrophe instead of manifestation. It's funny how we have to pretty much go to other sources now on how to manifest and how to. There's not enough sources I don't think in Judaism that, unfortunately, we've fallen from our level of manifestation that instead of manifesting, we become worriers. So that is pretty much the first thing I want to talk about. Being able to think greater than you feel. Being able to act as if you already have it. Being able, if you're trying to get married, walk around like you're married already. Like it doesn't matter if you are or not. Surrender any negativity of lack. And that usually gets the job done. If you can master yourself, because when you're in a good state, bottom line, things come to you. Things come to you. When you're chasing out of lack. You're chasing out of lack. You don't have to chase after them. And this is a very deep message that the Torah is telling you. I want you to think greater than you feel. I don't want you to be so rational and logical. I want you to enhance emunah. There's no logic behind emunah. It doesn't make sense. And that's exactly what your Creator wants. He wants your simplicity. He wants your simplicity. He wants you to think greater than you feel. You're in a situation where you don't see an exit sign? Plant it there. Plant it there. Plant the exit sign. Well, I don't see it. When you believe it, you start seeing it. So we're all dealing with challenges across the board. And obviously, we know that it's the hardest level to attain, but I don't have to live in that life. I have an option to use my mind, and like Rav Nachman says, wherever your thoughts are, that's where you are. I'm going to give you today pretty much some tips of what happy people do. I mean, I could just give it to you from experience of what I know and people that I've seen have success in areas. And areas that unfortunately are doing the opposite. But don't get stuck on routine. Don't get stuck on logic. That's the first thing. Because if you can't get your imagination, if you can't get your head in the right place, that's going to stop you. Logic stops you, period. And we want to completely break all logic, break all limits, etc. That's one of the things I work on with people. So number one resistance that I see is obviously happy people live in the moment, very much. Because the moment is being constantly recreated. You can't possibly be happy if you're not living in the moment. Because the moment is where everything happens. This is the moment. Tomorrow will be another moment. Rav Nachman tells us in Lesson 60 that the key to riches is your ability to change your attitude daily. Your ability to see like the whole world was recreated daily. And this is not some positive momentum speech or anything. This is he's telling you that when you read the word, God renews the world every single day, you have to freaking believe it. You have to like really believe, oh my God, God renews the world every single day. Today's never existed before. When you say Modeh Ani, thank you, gratitude, that's the moment. And then there's going to be another moment. And then there's going to be another moment. And then you're always living in the moment, which is the key. But the minute we don't live in the moment, that's going to wipe the smile off your face. Because of our insecurity, because we don't work on ourselves, we become we have a lot of fear. And fear makes us insecure. Fear makes us insecure business-wise. Fear makes us insecure relationship-wise. The more fear we have, the more we control people. The more fear we have, we try to control events. We don't let go. We don't know. We just can't handle just dealing with the moment. We feel like we have to control it. And when you try to control the events, basically you edge God out. You pretty much edge God out in your life. So that's what control does. When we fall behind, when we fall from our spiritual level, and we start having fear, all we do is control everything. And the more we control, the less likely we're going to live in the moment. And that's the root pretty much of anxiety. So your relationship with time is very connected to happiness. What is your relationship with time? Reb Nachman tells us our days should be very, very, very long. It should be a wide day. It shouldn't be a day where your energy is already, you're obsessing about things that are not going to happen. And that's a big deal, by the way. You have to live in the present. You live in the present, you show up to a date like no problem. You live in the present, you show up to work like it's a brand new day. That's the secret behind me doing a class every single day. Because if I started saying, wow, I got to do a class tomorrow, and then tomorrow, and 7, 8 classes, and then 10, 20 classes, I'm not in the moment. I'm not in the moment, my brain's not working. The way to do that is get into your breath. But you have to live in the moment. In relationships, again, living in the moment. The job of the ego is this constant FOMO. Fear of missing out. Fear of missing out. You're here, you should be somewhere else. You're dating, there could be another guy for you. There could be another girl. You could be making more money. You could be doing this. You could be doing that. It's never an end. There's never an end. You're never in the right place. Is this my soulmate? Is it not my soulmate? How do I know? You can create, you make it your soulmate. It's greener on the other side. No, it's greener where you water it. It's greener where you water it. Everything in life is like that. Your ability to live in the present moment. And Reb Nachman tells us black and white in Lesson 61. He says, when you are conscious, time flies. Time doesn't bother you. But when you lack awareness, time is your biggest enemy. So this is an area of our lives that when we don't work on ourselves, we don't listen to classes, we don't work on ourselves spiritually, then all of a sudden we lose our consciousness, and then time begins to become the enemy. And then time is rooted in imagination. Just pay attention, for example, start praying. All of a sudden, sometimes we pray, and all of a sudden we start getting, the guy goes too long, and all of a sudden we start getting ADHD, when's he going to finish, etc. That means you're not here. You're physically here, but the fact that we're so anxious to finish the prayer, finish this, finish that, you're here, but your mind is not here. That's why time bothers you so much. People ask me, how long should you meditate? 10 minutes, that's forever. Forget it, don't do it. Your mind's not there anyway. If you can't meditate for 10 minutes, you need 2 hours to meditate. You need 2 hours to think about why you're not meditating. That means if you don't have 10 minutes to talk to yourself and just stop the movie, let me check in, let me make sure I'm headed in the right direction, then you need 2 hours to meditate. 10 minutes? No, I can't 10 minutes. I don't have the head for 10 minutes. You're right, you don't have the head for 10 minutes. Your head's somewhere else. And that's exactly the job of the Yetzer Hara, to get you, hurry up and wait. You ever hear that? Typical New York. Hurry up and wait. They run, hurry up, and then they wait at the stop sign. Hurry up and wait. That's our lives, guys. I know, when I'm not present, I'm the hurry up and wait. Live in the moment. Live in the moment, I promise you. Because it's not the solution if I get married, everything's fixed. Obviously not. That could be the biggest joke in history. You understand? Nothing it's living in the moment is happiness. It's living in the moment, accepting what you have at the present moment, and exactly where God wants you at that moment. That's called acceptance. And that does tremendous things for you in your life. Your ability to accept things. That means this is okay, I'm in the right place, I don't need to be anywhere else because I'll be 100% present. Can't stress that enough to you. Number 2, happiest people are resilient. The happiest of all people are the ones that bounce back quickly. Very difficult, extremely difficult to be resilient today. But at the end of the day, Time magazine says the happiest people do not say, why me? The happiest people say, what's next? They bounce back. There's no question in life you're going to get knocked down. Guaranteed. Guaranteed you're going to get knocked down in life. Many times. Your ability to get up from that is whether you are a co-creator or whether you become a victim. Happiest people are resilient. If you're resilient, you will have a smile on your face. Even the science is behind this. But the minute we don't bounce back in life, what happens? We're letting the people who knocked us down control us. Or the situations in your life control you. So you can't be happy if you're being controlled by somebody else. Every day that you don't bounce back, that person who hurt you is controlling your life. Every minute you're being controlled. You don't even recognize you're being controlled. Bouncing back is the greatest way to get your control back. But look what they did, but look at this, but look at that. But you're still a victim. If you're still a victim, you're being controlled. Period. You're free when you forgive and you bounce back. It is the greatest tip that God gave us. That is Reb Nachman 101, resilience. I learned resilience from Reb Nachman. Otherwise, there would be no way in the world that I would be able to come back the way I came back after what happened to me this year. No question. If it wasn't for the years and years of programming for Reb Nachman's teachings, bounce back. You have a bad day, have a bad hour. Bounce back. Constant bounce back. You have to have the ability to bounce back. You have a fight with your spouse, bounce back. What's resentment going to do for you? Nothing. Bounce back. Bounce back. Our Creator does not approve self-pity. He does not approve a victim mentality. And you can see, there's a lot of people with a victim mentality. What are they getting out of it? Nothing. What are they getting out of it? You have the ability to bounce back. I can't tell you that enough. And people will look up to you. You don't want people to feel sorry for you. You want people to look up to you. And people look up to people who bounce back. So that's happy people, bottom line. They have unshakable beliefs, and they come back with a smile. And this is why our sages say, you're going to get knocked down 7, but your job is to get up the 8th. And the resistance is coming from the constant, is the Yetzer Hara, telling us, why me, why me? And you will never know the answer sometimes. But your job is to bounce back. And when you do that, that will put a big smile on your face. That will put a big smile. People who bounce back relationships, people who bounce back from marriages, people who bounce back, I bounced back from a bad marriage. Bounce back! It was the greatest move. You know why? Because people who bounce back have trust in God. They don't have fear. They're not worried about what people are going to say. They're not obsessed with the future. They just get going. And if you could just learn that one, that's what the Torah's message. You got to be able to bounce back. And without spirituality, you can't bounce back. Because you're too busy thinking about why and how come. And you can go to a bunch of psychiatrists, get medication. At the end of the day, resilience is in your heart. It's in your heart. It's in your heart. Number 3, resilient, happy people are more mindful than have a mind full. Big difference. You could be mindful, or you can have a mind full. That means mind's full. And this is very important, because you have to be the one that hears the voice. You are not the voice. You are the one that hears the voice. Just because you get negative thoughts doesn't mean that's who you are. Just because you get these, remember, the Yetzer Hara is not pumping positivity into you. The Yetzer Hara is pumping nothing but negativity. all day long. That's a malik. What is a malik? Rak ra kol hayom. Rak ra all day long. You have to be the one to observe your thoughts. Just because you think something, that's not. Just listen to it. Listen to the voice. Listen to what's coming out. Don't attach yourself to everything you hear. This is a big one, by the way. And you have to start again. How to do this? You need to breathe, you need to stop, and you need to listen. If I did everything that I listened, every thought that came to me, I wouldn't be here right now. I would not be here. I'm tired. Bottom line, you make decisions. The minute you start listening to your inner voice, and you're just hearing it, and you think you are the voice, I promise you, you're going to go into comfort 99 out of 100 times. It will not, your inner voice is not telling you to grow. Your inner voice is telling you, just take it easy. You worked hard. Even in Florida, believe it or not. I think the only one that really worked hard in Florida is DeSantis. Everybody else, we got lucky. And Hashem bless him that he should continue to have his bitachon in life. We should all learn from Ron DeSantis how much bitachon he had and how successful he was because of his mindset. Not one day did he have fear, a lot of noise. Calm confidence. You should learn from a guy like that how to have bitachon. Nothing shake them. When things are up, when things are down, this is who I am. Unshakable belief system. A lot to learn from him. The fourth thing happy people do is they have more appreciation and less expectation. If you want to teach marriage 101, drop the expectations, marry the appreciation. Otherwise, you got resentment. I mean, how much time do you think? That means if you're married today, Rabbi Rush says you have to spend 30 minutes a day talking nice about your spouse. Meditating on how nice your spouse is. Everybody have 30 minutes a day to talk about how nice your spouse is? 30 minutes. It says the secret to marriage is every day, wake up 30 minutes and think about only the good points in your spouse. Because if you don't program to think of the good points in your spouse, automatically you're going to see what's wrong. Because you're a human being. Period. Nothing more but because you're a human being. We're not prone, we don't look for positivity. We don't wake up, even though we say, Modeh, thank you God, 5 minutes over. Rabbi Rush says, you want to have a happy marriage, period? You're not praying enough for your spouse. Whoa, what do you mean, Rabbi? This. Did you hear what I told you? That's what he says to people. Stayed at my house. Same recipe. Every single marriage that came in, I have a marriage problem. How much time do you spend praying for your spouse or your future soulmate? I don't know, not much. That's why you have what you have. How do you expect to have love when you have judgment? It's not possible. Judgment blocks love. And the way to do that is you have to have appreciation. But because we're always in our head all the time, we just think about what we're getting or we're not getting out of the relationship. And again, this is normal. The thing is, you have to recognize what to fix. And I'm going to tell you the truth. If you're single, make sure you have 30 minutes before you get married, once you're looking for the right one, that you'll dedicate 30 minutes, even 20 minutes, to just thinking about the good points in your spouse. It's so quick. Remember, you have a 50-60% chance of getting a divorce. The odds are not in your favor. The odds are not in your favor. I hate a big reality check, by the way. The odds are not in your favor. You have a better chance of losing than winning. It's good to have that perspective, by the way. When you recognize the odds are not in your favor, then you start taking a different approach. Wow, what are my rituals to make sure that this marriage flourishes? Just think about that. The odds are not in our favor today. We're not walking in with 90% chance of winning. You're walking with a 40% chance of winning. That's a 40% chance of winning. It's not something you could just say, take it easy, take it easy. No, you have to be prepared. You have to really be programmed today. Especially with whatever else is going on in the world. That's just adding to that stress that just ends up becoming a displacement of energy. So this is something we all have to really look into. How much time are we spending thinking about good points in your spouse? This is not going to come to you, I promise you. You have to really focus on it. And what you focus on is what you get. And from my experience, doing this for years, it works. It works. It's so easy to have resentment today. It's so easy to have resentment with God, by the way. Very easy. Many people, I have to get them to stop hating God. The customers I get are not, kumbaya, I hate God, why is he doing this to me? That's the typical running a rehab centers. Nobody really loves God at that place and time. Because remember that our level of perspective and our view of our Creator are exactly the same. This is why the famous line, when you change your relationship with your Creator changes your relationship with people. Period. When you change your relationship with your Creator does the work. He does the work for you. But when you don't change your relationship with your Creator, then He leaves you to do the work. Good luck with the 40%. I'd rather take the divine help in heaven. But again, I'm just keeping it real. That's what I'm telling you. This is my whole goal is really keep it real and to tell people real perspective. And this is all Hasidic teachings, but we just have to bring it out to recognize how important. Like, I can't just live a life of comfort I can't get comfortable in my marriage and think it's going to work out. I just can't have that attitude. I know Florida's great. We love it. It's amazing. But it's very easy to be comfortable here. And we're comfortable whenever you become casual with something, you become a casualty to it. Don't get casual just because you live in Florida. Maybe you need to get hit by a coconut tree, maybe a palm tree. A good coconut hits you in the head, knock a little sense into all of us. But just because you moved here doesn't mean you have a la carte. In New York, they had a little more hunger in New York. They're a little anxious, they're worried. They put a little bit more effort, I see. But once we get to MIA, the souls go MIA too here. Everything goes to MIA too here. I recognize that. Don't get comfortable because you live in Florida. Don't get comfortable. You know what happens when you get comfortable? You meet comfortable people. And comfortable people don't get married. Comfortable people date. We're picking up the LA syndrome. 3 months and out. Same thing, don't get comfortable. Show a strong relationship with your Creator, and He will bring you serious people. I always tell that to singles. Get serious with your Creator. Commit to Him, and He will get somebody to commit to you. But when we become casual with our Creator, and we want serious people to commit to us, doesn't match. Doesn't match. Got to be serious. Everything I see, remember, whatever relationships you see on the outside, it's just reflecting a relationship that you have in heaven. It's that easy. This is why Reb Nachman tells us that your quality of matches, your quality of zivug, it could be a business zivug, it could be a business zivug, it could be a marriage zivug, is your quality of prayer, hand in hand. If the prayer is weak, you get weak people. And what I've seen, I've seen results of the people who are able to now, they're serious. They're serious, serious people come. Casual, casual people come. You don't want to walk into a Baskin Robbins with 36 flavors the guy doesn't know who to commit to. This is what you're going to get. Indecision. What ice cream? This one, that one. That's what you're getting. A lot of indecision. But your Creator has your match for you guys. Your Creator has your match. Your Creator has your match in business. One phone call can make you rich or poor with the wrong partner. One phone call could have a tremendous success, or you could be in litigation with one partner. I've been in both ends. So just recognize whatever your creator, all he wants to do is get your attention. That's all. It's love, but it's tough love. But he wants to get your attention. So when you start having weak dates, the signals weak in heaven. Weak business relationships, signals weak in heaven. It's that simple. Reb Nachman tells it to us, that simple. Because you're here to connect. And when you connect, he connects for you. It's Kabbalah 101. As below, so is above. It's a parallel universe. That's why, bottom line, something you hate about somebody, you're holding that hate yourself. It's so obvious, but you have to be in tune with your emotions. You have to be really in tune with your feelings, and you have to recognize that. And you have to be able to take that responsibility to say, okay, this needs to change. Versus blaming the whole world, or the singles, or the shidduch crisis, or this one or that one. What's that going to get you? What's that going to get you? Remember, arrogant people blame outside. Humble people know there's something they need to work on. That's the difference. Humble people know something I need to. My Creator is sending me messages that I need to change. My Creator is sending me constant messages. Again, this is not easy. It is not an easy thing to do. But it's something that your Creator wants to make sure you don't walk around with this unworthiness. You don't walk around with any negativity. So He exposes that area in your life over and over again. That's why happy people don't take things so personal. They learn. Unhappy people make everything about them. Being a Scorpio myself, I've worked on this for about 5 years. Of how much just, it's not about you, it's not about you, not about you. Because I used to constantly get triggered very easily. We all have specific issues in areas of our lives that we struggle in. Everybody comes here with a package. One comes with an anger package, one guy comes with an emotional package, one guy can't make a decision for his life, another one stuck on logic, earth. Everybody has a package. It's whoever works on that package, but we all get one. The Arizal says you're coming here for tikkun, you're coming here to repair. It's one of the 4 elements. It's nothing new, nothing new. If you're not struggling in something, you're just not aware of it. That's really the issue. You're just not aware of the struggle. You're not aware of it, but believe me, that struggle is there. If you're smart, you get aware on it, you get aware, you manage it, you work on it, you pray, and then your Creator does the rest. That's the only difference between people that are successful in areas or not. It's they're aware of their struggles, they work on their struggles, they pray, they know what they need to work on, and they get success in that area. And then they're happy. You see, the happiness is after the work. There's no such thing as, why am I not happy? You don't know who you are. What makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy, etc. And that's what's very, very important. We got to look deep within. That's so important. It's Reb Nachman's message, it's very, very much of the new world of psychology. It's all look within. But this is it's not a new concept, guys. It's called bittul. Bittul means surrender all the negative attributes that you have about yourself until you remove every single shadow. And once you remove the shadow, the light comes in. You know, your job, in one marriage could be, again, not taking things personal. That could be a master's in not taking things personal. That could be a whole work in itself. Another one could be just being able to just be happy making a decision. Air sign, not thinking that you're always in the wrong place. Just make a decision. One decision. Another person could just struggle with the earthiness of life, of logic, and he struggles with faith. Another fire. Another person struggling with anger in his life and control. But it's something you're going to struggle in. But you have to make sure if that's not worked on, that sometimes becomes your personality. And when that becomes your personality, then you're stuck. Because that's what like Joe Dispenza says, that becomes your personality, so it becomes your personal reality. And that's where the problem is. Well, what do you think about that person? Oh, she's very angry. Not for me. What do you mean she's very angry? She had a moment of anger? Or this is who she is? Membership in anger. No more Morocco jokes, by the way. I only get 2 a night, and then I get shchita. That's it. 2 a night, that's my last. But I'm just trying to explain to you the whole concept. Don't let a bad habit become your personality. Your job here is to get to that, work on yourself and bittul in that area. So again, number 6, they're focused, they don't take things personal. Not everything's about them. Happy people, not everything's about them. They're able to see a bigger picture. Even when they struggle, even when they have a failure, it's not always about you. Maybe you see, there's a difference between being tested in something and you're thinking you're being punished in something. This is a common method that I see people fail in. They're going through a struggle, I'm being punished. No. You're being tested. But you think you're always being punished. How do you react when you're being punished? Right away into anger. You're being tested. Are you going to get tested? Absolutely. If you didn't get tested, that's the whole purpose of creation, is to allow free will so you could choose the right decision. So first, number 1, label everything as a test. Don't look at it as punishment. That already is never going to allow you to be happy. How can I be happy if I'm being punished? Look at it as a test. It's going to happen to us all the time. Hashem uses his name Elohim to test us. He has a specific name to test you. So when many people label punishment and they fall into terrible addictions for no reason, because they label that as despair, it's just a test. You know why? Because your Creator, if he doesn't challenge you, he doesn't change you. You will never change unless you're challenged. And you have to be tested to be challenged. But everybody wants to change, but they don't want the challenge. It's not an option. It's not an option. It's not an option. You're going to be tested. And you're going to be tested in the areas that you're weak. The areas that you're weak in life, you'll get tested. Whether it could be a codependency relationship. You know how many people in recovery get tested to use right afterwards? Does that mean they're bad people? Does that mean no? God wants to make sure. Are they really in recovery? Or are they saying they're in recovery? Testing is a form of cleansing the past. But you can't label it punishment. People would labeling punishment. They have a very immature childish concept of God. They're looking at God in a picture with in the clouds with a stick. I mean, this is the immaturity level that we've reached. We haven't. Rav Kook says anything but the word Ein Sof, which means no limit, is completely childish. Being childish. It's a childish imagination of you using. Oh, God is angry at me. God's this. He uses different names to test us. If we remove from him, he removes from us. But he's not punishing you. He's challenging you. So this is where we have to recognize, because he broke that relationship. How many times have I seen? God has to break your heart to save your soul. You're so blind in that relationship that if he didn't break your heart, he would destroy your soul. You know how many times I've seen that? I see God giving that person a kiss from heaven, and they're looking at it as, look, why did you do this to me? This is why we have to teach classes. Because without that, no dat, you have nothing. You have no dat, the Gemara says. You have dat, you have perspective, you have dat, you have knowledge, you have everything. You don't have dat, you have nothing. You have nothing. It's black and white. Reb Nachman's whole mission in his whole life was to come to this world to give people dat. That's what he was here for. I'm here to give dat. And you know what he told us? He told us that we have to acquire dat, we have to acquire knowledge, and then we have to give it out to other people. And this is how it stays fresh in your mind. When you get knowledge, and you go teach it to others, which leads to happiness because you're giving, you are fulfilling, because at the end of the day, there are no moving companies in the grave. Nobody cares if you're wearing a Patek or a Rolex in the grave. What did you do? What did you do? What are you known for? There's no moving companies in the cemeteries. Nothing you could take with you. Zero. The only thing you could take with you is the name you gave. What did you do in this world? What in the world did you do in this world? Not your resume, your legacy. What in the world did you do in this world? This is why you have to acquire knowledge. Because you have to leave something behind. Otherwise, what are you leaving behind? What in the world can you leave behind? Watches, money, this? What's that going to do for you? Nothing. Zero. The stuff that we're all chasing all day long. This should be the number one priority, acquiring dat. I'm not telling you to be a fanatic. I'm not telling you to study all day. But you have to acquire something in your life. You have to acquire knowledge. And that will give you happiness because you have perspective and you have everything else. And you have success because you have wisdom. But without that, we just walk around with, waiting for things to change, checking our phones for updates for things to change and things to change. And we're just headed in the wrong direction. And this is what in life, first, be happy, then be religious. He said it the opposite. He didn't say religious first. He said, first happy, then you could be religious. Because if you don't have that aspect of purpose and goal and living with meaning and becoming a giver and all these things we spoke about, then we walk around all day long, taking things personal, expecting our self-worth is dependent on our net worth, and we lost the whole big picture, and we lost the potential. And that's why, this message is very important. It's not enough for you guys just to acquire dat. You have to ask yourself, how many people are you affecting? How many people? This is why I do this. I do this because Rav Nachman says to do this. And because I've been able to give so much, he has given me so much. Your level of growth, just like everything else. You go to a nice restaurant, you spread it, you tell, wow, what a great restaurant. Same thing. When you hear something in life, your job is to make students. And that's how you can change the world. You can change the world because you become now the source of the dat, and everybody else, B'ezrat Hashem, will be able to help. May Hashem help us all. We should all acquire a lot of dat. We should all have success in all areas of our lives. We should get married, but more importantly, we should always we should always go to the emotion before the event. Don't be like a beggar, lacking always. I need this to happen to be happy. No. Take the step first. Through joy, you will exit. Don't wait to exit once joy comes. Through joy, you will exit. Be able to think greater than you feel. All right, that's today's class.